Mars is quiet in a way no human has ever experienced. Not silent, but empty. No wind through trees, no distant oceans, no insects, no aircraft high above, just a vast copper horizon under a salmon-colored sky, and a single human spacecraft resting where nothing built by life has ever stood before. The landing is actually over. For the first time in history, people are on Mars. Inside the vehicle, no one cheers yet. They don't jump or celebrate. They listen. The engines have shut down, but the structure still hums softly, cooling pumps, computers, air circulation. The astronauts sit strapped into their seats, breathing hard, eyes wide. Adrenaline is still rushing through them. Entry, descent, and landing lasted only minutes, but their bodies still feel like they've run for miles.
Touchdown confirmed. We're stable.
And then only then the tension breaks. Quiet laughter, a few shaky breaths, someone wipes their eyes, but the mission has only just begun, because landing is not survival. Survival begins now. If you enjoy following humanity's journey outward, take a second to subscribe. This series follows the crew from Earth to Mars step by step, and tonight we stay with them through their first hours on another world. The astronauts remain inside the lander for nearly 2 hours after arrival. That surprises people. They don't immediately rush outside because the spacecraft itself is their safest shelter. Outside, the air pressure is less than 1% of Earth's. The atmosphere is mostly carbon dioxide. The temperature is already falling and sunset is approaching fast. Mars doesn't give you time to celebrate. The crew begins post-landing procedures. They power down unnecessary systems to conserve energy. They check the hull for microfractures. They run air sensors to make sure no seals were damaged during touchdown. Every compartment is inspected, then they check something else, the environment outside. A masked camera slowly rises above the lander. The first panoramic image appears on their screens. Red dust stretching to the horizon. Gentle rolling ground, long shadows already forming. They stare at it in silence. After pressure checks and suit preparation, the commander gives permission.
Prepare for EVA.
The hatch cycles, air slowly vents from the airlock, a thin cloud of moisture freezes instantly and disappears into the Martian atmosphere. The outer hatch unlocks with a mechanical click that echoes through helmets. The first astronaut steps onto the ladder. Their boots have never touched anything except spacecraft floors and Earth training grounds. Now Mars! They pause halfway down, not because they're scared, because they understand what this moment means. The boot presses into the soil, the dust compresses like powdered clay. The first human footprint on Mars, no speeches, just a quiet whisper transmitted to Earth with a long delay. We made it. Mission Control won't hear those words for 14 minutes, and the reply won't come for another 14 minutes. For the next half hour, they are completely alone. They begin unloading immediately. The first priority is not exploration, it's survival infrastructure. Cargo compartments open along the side of the lander. Small robotic cranes deploy automatically. Containers are lowered to the ground. Life support tanks, communication arrays, spare batteries, food stores. Then comes the most important piece, the habitat. It looks small at first, a compact cylinder wrapped in protective layers. But once positioned, compressed gas tanks trigger deployment. The structure begins to unfold. Panels expand outward, internal frames rise, flexible walls inflate and harden into a rigid shell. Within 20 minutes, a living space exists where none existed before. Human shelter on Mars. The crew connects thick cables from the lander to the habitat, electrical lines, data lines, air lines. Every connection is checked twice, then they start life support. Mars gives them no oxygen to breathe, but it gives them something else, carbon dioxide. A machine inside the habitat pulls Martian air through filters and compressors. The gas is heated and split. Oxygen atoms are separated and stored in tanks. They are literally making breathable air from the Martian atmosphere. Water comes next. There are no lakes nearby, no rivers, but beneath the soil lies frozen ice. A heated drill, already pre-landed months before by cargo missions, begins melting subsurface ice. The water is pumped into purification systems, filtered, sterilized, and stored. The first glass of Martian water is not ceremonial, it is necessary. Temperature control follows. Outside, evening approaches, and Mars is cooling rapidly. Daytime temperatures near freezing are about to plunge below minus 70 degrees Celsius. Inside the habitat, heaters activate. Warm air circulates. Frost forms instantly on exterior panels, while inside the crew removes their helmets for the first time. They take a breath. air made on Mars, electricity powers all of it. Solar panels unfold across the ground like metallic petals, automatically orienting toward the fading sun. They won't be enough at night, so a second system comes online. A compact nuclear reactor, delivered earlier by robotic mission, activates. No smoke, no noise, just steady, reliable power. Heat and electricity flow continuously, keeping systems alive through the freezing darkness. Because the Martian night is the real test, Mars has almost no magnetic field and a very thin atmosphere. When the sun sets, heat escapes into space rapidly. Temperatures drop fast enough to destroy equipment and freeze exposed materials solid. Radiation also becomes a threat. Without Earth's protective magnetosphere, cosmic rays pass through the surface far more easily. To survive the night, the astronauts move sleeping quarters into the most shielded section of the habitat, surrounded by water tanks and supply containers, makeshift radiation protection, and then they wait for Earth to respond. 14 minutes after landing, Mission Control receives the words, "We made it." Cheers erupt on Earth.
Welcome to Mars.
The delay changes everything. There are no real-time conversations anymore, no immediate help. Every decision they make must stand on its own for nearly half an hour before Earth can even react. The psychological impact settles in slowly. They eat their first meal sitting on another planet. Gravity here is only 38% of Earth's. Movements feel strange. Objects fall slowly. Even standing feels unfamiliar. Through a small window, they watch the sunset, not yellow, blue. Martian sunsets glow a soft blue halo around the sinking sun, the opposite of Earth's red evenings. The sky darkens, and stars appear sharp and steady, not twinkling, no atmosphere to blur them. The realization finally hits. They cannot step outside safely, they cannot breathe the air, and home is tens of millions of kilometers away. For the first time in human history, people will sleep on another planet. Night deepens. Outside, frost spreads across the ground. Solar panels go dark. The nuclear reactor hums steadily, the only heartbeat of human presence on Mars. Inside, the crew prepares for tomorrow. They plan antenna towers, long-term greenhouses, radiation shielding using packed regolith and permanent storage. This landing site will become a base, not a visit, a beginning. They secure equipment, run system diagnostics, and record video messages to families that won't arrive until morning on Earth. Before sleep, one astronaut turns off the cabin lights. Through the window, Mars stretches endlessly, cold, silent, and ancient. Humanity has taken its first step toward becoming a multi-planet species, not with a flag, not with a speech, but with a shelter, a breath of oxygen, and a light glowing in the darkness. If you want to continue this journey with the crew from survival to building the first true Mars base, subscribe and join the next episode, because tomorrow they start living here.